Rosenbaum. I'll host the show tonight on a night where the Warriors got stunned at home, losing to Boston. Quite a swing in the fourth quarter. But we're not going to talk about the NBA on this show. We're going to talk about some great high school baseball that occurred last Saturday at Dodger Stadium. We're going to talk about Garfield winning the D1 City Championship, coming from behind to beat Narbonne, and Chatsworth knocking off Birmingham to win the Open Division title. We have a lot of guests from both those schools. It's going to be a lot of fun. But joining me tonight, as always, is Tarek Fatal from the Daily News. And Tarek, we got to start with some big news today. The CIF Southern Section has announced that in late November, their CIF Championship football game will be at the Rose Bowl.
I always think that these venues are such an opportunity for the athletes. Obviously, we're going to talk a little Dodger Stadium and City Section. So anytime there's an opportunity for high school athletes to get an experience like in college or even professionals, win or lose, that's a special day. And so the Rose Bowl is an iconic venue, and we're going to see some high school football in it.
Yeah, a lot of people are already predicting St. John Bosco, which got another great transfer last couple days. They'll be in there against Mater Dei, who's the powerful team. But the Rose Bowl is the new home of the CIF Southern Section Football Championship. We have regional baseball championship games on Saturday, and Jay Serra has moved into the championship game. They had a dramatic win today, 5-4 over Notre Dame of Sherman Oaks, and they're going to play a Huntington Beach team, Tarek, that's really coming on. That should be a great game Saturday.
Again, I just think that there's an opportunity for both teams to have a special season, and that's going to be winning. Not a lot of teams can say that they won the last game of the year, and so that's what's at stake on Saturday. I think we're seeing these regional playoffs. I think we'll see a CIF state championship in the near future in the Southern Section and all for the whole state. So right now it's just the regional finals.
Yeah, we'll have the softball finals on Saturday as well. Some of those games are still yet to be played. Oaks Christian, a powerful team, they're going to play tomorrow at 11 a.m. So they're still in the hunt to win a softball championship. I do want to talk about track and field. I know they didn't have any track and field this week, but Roderick Pleasant at the state meet won the 100 and the 200 meters. Top boys sprinter in California, top boys sprinter in the United States. This guy from Jay Serra, not from Jay Serra, Serra High School. I got to take the J out of it. Serra High School in Gardena is phenomenal.
Yeah, Roderick Pleasant, I think he ran a 10:14 at the Masters meet, if I'm not mistaken. That's like blazing fast for anyone really not familiar with track and field. That's unreal. That's Olympian level type stuff for his age. And so, yeah, he blazes again at the state finals. Now, didn't get as low as he probably wanted to, but either way, he's a medalist, he's a champion.
Yeah, that was at Clovis up north. Also winning the sprints on the ladies' side is Rain Redmond out of Carson High School. She won the 100. We got to give her just due. She's the fastest girl in California for the Carson Colts.
I think a lot of people had Dijon Stanley pegged as to represent the city section of the state finals, and Wilson did it from Carson. A great performance for her.
We're going to meet Marcus Alvarado of Chatsworth, their baseball coach, and their outstanding pitcher, Jose Ruedas, in a moment. But I do want to talk a little basketball here. Jazz Gardner, a great center at Los Altos, he and his brother Jai, transferring to West Ranch. You know, we talked about transfers last week on our show, a couple great ones out of state going to Notre Dame and Sherman Oaks. Well, West Ranch in that Valencia area in the Santa Clarita Valley, West Ranch is now for real.
Yeah, they're really, really good. Jakari Miles, James Evans, Andrew Meadow, and now Jazz Gardner, a 7-footer that can shoot the three, put the ball on the floor a little bit. They'll for sure win the Foothill League again, and that'll make that daily news coverage area that's in my neck of the woods real competitive with Harvard Westlake, Notre Dame, West Ranch, and of course, Sierra Canyon.
Yeah, is there something to the daily news that you're getting all these players in that area?
You know,
it's helping
I do
your
what
coverage.
I can.
Well, we're going to do what we can for Garfield baseball a little bit later in the show. We're going to get to Chatsworth momentarily. We're going to have the coach on, Ruben Torres, does a great job. They won the Division I title with that thrilling win over Narbonne. We have his fine pitcher, Cesar Ferrer here, who pitched 6 2/3 innings. Didn't get that final out, but he did a terrific job at Dodger Stadium. Speaking of Dodger Stadium, Chatsworth was great. They were the number 9 seed, and as we bring in Marcus Alvarado and his outstanding pitcher, Jose Ruedas, what a performance by Chatsworth, the number 9 seed. They beat Granada Hills, the number 1 seed, along the way.
I mean, look, you can't talk about that final game without their journey there. They're the 9 seed, as you alluded to. That's the lowest seed to ever win the Open Division title. I certainly didn't think they were going to win it, and they continued to prove everybody wrong along the way, and including taking down number 1 seed Granada Hills.
And it becomes the 10th city title in the history of Chatsworth, and that's more than any school in the history of the LA City section. So congratulations to the Chancellor program. Let's bring in now Marcus Alvarado. I know he's feeling under the weather. We'll ask him about that in his fine pitcher. Jose Ruedas, who pitched a complete game 4 hitter in the championship game against Birmingham. Marcus, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Same to you, Jose. Marcus, how you feeling? I know you're not at 100% right now.
I'm not 100% right now, but Jose and I are honored to be on this show. I mean, Jose knows, this is my bedtime anyway at 9 o'clock, so it's pushing my bedtime right now.
Well, that's why we had you on the first segment, because I knew you had to go to bed early. I had to get you on quick. All right, guys, take us to that golden moment, winning at Dodger Stadium. I mean, first of all, and we talked about it, you had a tough path to get there, but now you play a really good Birmingham team that's had great success at Dodger Stadium. Marcus, talk about what Jose brought to the game, because he pitched a brilliant contest for you.
I mean, Jose brought confidence. I mean, when Jose gets the ball, there's a different energy level and a different confidence that the team has when Jose is on the hill. And during the playoff time, that second round Granada, but most definitely at DS, I saw it in Jose's eyes that he was locked in, ready to go for his team.
Sounds like you guys are the Bulldogs, not Garfield, with the dog barking in the background. Now, Jose,
about that,
great performance, and what caught my eye about your game is you didn't walk anyone at Dodger Stadium. How did you keep in the zone, keep the control where you didn't lose any batters with a free pass, and stay so focused for the whole contest?
It's all just confidence for me, honestly. You just can't be in your own head, because if you are, bad things will happen. So that's pretty much what I try to do, is stay out of my own head and just play to my capabilities.
Marcus, we talked leading up to the playoff or into the playoffs, and at that game, we talked about your father Manny, who won 5 city titles at Kennedy, and now you were able to do it here at Chatsworth. And we joked after the game, the Alvarados are 6-0 at Dodger Stadium. That's pretty cool. Can you talk about what the conversations have been like with your father since hoisting that city title plaque?
Oh, my dad's this proud of me, and my dad's a humble guy. He's one of those guys that just, he teaches you life lessons, like what I try to teach and preach to my guys, and just go out there and play. He hasn't said anything. To me, it's just another day. It was a special day on that Saturday, but my players know. That was Saturday. Now I look forward to next season. So that's what I look forward to.
Didn't he give you any advice, though, before the game or the night before?
The night before, there was a couple batters. I went over his house. There was a couple batters that I did. I did my homework the last few days, trying to see how we were going to attack these hitters. And there was a couple guys that, I just wanted a second judgment on. And I went to my dad's house and, Dad, what do you think? This guy and this guy, how would you start him? How would you finish him? This is what he does on these certain pitches and certain counts. And my dad just goes, how many runs did they score when Pollock pitched? None. How many runs did they score off, Jose when he pitched, the 4 or 5 innings? We didn't make an error. None. And then when we had to do the rematch game, they didn't score. He goes, so why are you asking me how to attack these guys when they pretty much didn't score on pretty much, 3 games almost? And then you look at Dodger Stadium, and they didn't score either.
Jose, in that last inning, take us to the last batter. You have 2 out. You're 1 out away from shutting down Birmingham and winning the city championship in the Open Division. Take us through that last batter and that final out. What went through your mind?
Well, awesomely, it was just one pitch that last at bat. But, before that, I really just try to soak it all in, just look around at my surroundings and just appreciate where I'm at and the hard work that it took to get there. So pretty much just appreciated the moment and just was very thankful.
Jose, Coach talked to me about the small ball you guys play, and he said that there was a point in the season, we talked about this on the field that day, but we both of you guys kind of acknowledged like a turning point offensively about kind of swinging for the fences, so to speak, and then really just that technical, fundamental baseball. Can you talk about that turning point in the season and how much it helped for you guys to win the championship?
Absolutely. It helped tremendously. Once all the guys just bought into what our coaches wanted us to do for them, everything just turned around, and you see, we ended up at Dodger Stadium.
Marcus, Chatsworth for so long had the program under Tom Usborne. And since he's gone, there's been numerous opportunities. They've gotten back to Dodger Stadium and fell short. Did you feel pressure at Chatsworth to get a championship, to finally get, I don't want to call it a monkey off your back, but that's what your AD said. There was pressure there. Did you feel that when you went to Dodger Stadium that, hey, it's time for Chatsworth to finally break through again?
No, I didn't feel any pressure. I mean, the last name that I have to live up to, my dad, I know I'll never live up to my dad's standards. Going into Chatsworth High School, no one's going to be Coach Usborne. 8 city titles. Just walking into that school, I knew that there's certain expectations, and I know those expectations because the school that I came from previously. The only thing that I wanted to do is to make sure that these young kids that didn't realize the history at Chatsworth High School, that didn't have the opportunity to play for Coach Usborne, that when he put on that uniform and that hat, there is expectations. I thrive off those type of expectations because I like to prove people wrong. And, this year we actually had the opportunity to raise that trophy on Saturday.
Marcus, you alluded to it a little bit earlier. It's a championship, victory, awesome, happy, and then you're already kind of like, I got to focus on next season, Talk a little bit about, some of the things you have planned for the summer and just kind of making that transition to go, hey, great season, awesome, but now I got to keep looking forward. How do you do that?
The summertime when we have tryouts in a few weeks, I go in the summertime Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning to like 8 o'clock weight room class, and the incoming freshmen, JV, soft rush, and varsity guys, just to build that bond and that work ethic that I like. That's what we're going to start, and just play about 8 to 10 summer ball games just to get some reps during the summertime, and then just get our groundwork in the off-season class. That's what my coaching staff and I like the most is breaking down the fundamentals and breaking down the individual skills to the T, to the best of our ability.
Jose, finally for you, what's in your future in baseball? Obviously, you're a senior. You want to graduate from Chatsworth. What's down the road for you as a flamethrower on the mound?
I will definitely be continuing to play in college. Still don't know where yet, but baseball is definitely in my future.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. Marcus, we hope you feel better. I know you feel good about a championship, but now we got to get you healthy. And Jose, congratulations on a wonderful performance.
Thank you.
I saw one writer say it was the second best performance he saw at Dodger Stadium to Brett Saberhagen's no-hitter. I got to correct him. It's the third best performance. You were great, but Justin Castle at Chatsworth threw a one-hitter and came an eyelash away from a no-hitter. That was the other great game. But what they have in common, they're all from the West Valley, and 2 of the 3 are Chatsworth pitchers. Congratulations to Jose and Marcus on an open division 2-0 win over Birmingham in the finals. Guys, take care.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. Great performance. We mentioned it before, the number 9 seed.
Can't argue with a victory. I think they had a really, really good game against Notre Dame Sherman Oaks in the regional playoffs. Came up short, but a great, great season for the Chancellors.
Now, Garfield wins the D1 title. They knock off Narbonne and they come in studio tonight. So we get the Coach Ruben Torres. He's here. He brings in his fine pitcher, Cesar Ferrer, who went 6 2/3 innings. And gentlemen, congratulations on your win over Narbonne.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it. Thanks, Tarek. Thank you guys for having us, and well, we're excited. Excited to be here.
Well, I want to know what went through your guys' minds early, because Narbonne came out, struck for a couple quick runs off of Caesar. What goes through your mind? You're at Dodger Stadium, you're all pumped up, you have this great crowd, everyone's roaring, and then Narbonne hits you in the face with a punch. How do you react to that on the big stage?
You think about it, I think the first thing you want to think is like, you want to start figuring, you start thinking, is this going to continue or not? But I think once you get your feet on the ground and think like it's a ball game, it's not going to, doesn't matter if they score 2 in the first or in the 5th or in the whatever, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to make sure that you keep it a game where you're going to give your guys a chance. And so whatever that is, and it starts with a guy on the bump. If he can kind of settle in, then it settles everyone else, and then we can kind of go our game. Aside from that, the guys have been there before, they've responded before, so it's like anything. Like you said, you take a punch, but you got more rounds to go. So
I got to tell you, Narbonne scores 2. I run over to Tarek in the press box, and I go, "What do you think?" He goes, "Garfield will be in this. Garfield's going to come back." Yeah. So he had confidence. By the way, he won the press box. Yeah. He was the top picker. He picked he went 2-0. I went 1-1, and there's a few guys that went 0-2. All right, Caesar. Tell us about the start. You're on the rocks. You're struggling early. How'd you get through that? I mean, I'm up in the press box going, "Oh my goodness, is this kid going to get through the first inning?" You're a junior. You're at Dodger Stadium. How'd you work your way out of the trouble?
Yeah, the first inning I struggled a bit. After that first inning, we realized, they're bunting is going to bring up our third baseman, and they're going to go ahead and steal third. After that, I think they tried it a few more times, but we were more alert about that situation. But after that first inning, I came into the dugout. Everybody went up to me. They all told me, keep doing what you're doing all season long. We all have your back. My defense has always been there for me. They've always had my back, doing amazing plays, and that really helped me calm down, helped me, and use my defense.
Coach, leading up to a game like Dodger Stadium, I almost kind of feel like you could be there over and over again, but it's such a special venue. How do you prepare your team to not just be happy to be there, but to have a goal in mind to win there, as you did?
It's funny, Tarek, is that, I've never coached there either, so, right? We go to a bunch of games.
Did
and
you pick up some sand like a lot of the players do, put it in your pocket?
I don't mean it disrespectfully, but it's dirt, it is what it is. Yeah. But, you can't help but go there. I've been a long time, lifetime Dodger fan, so you can't help but think, this is where Robert sits. And, you think about those things, but I think when we prepped to get out there, we thought my plan was, let's get there early. It's a moment, so let them get it out of their system. So, most people would be like, "Oh, you can't take pictures. It's we have a game to get ready for." And I didn't really approach it that way. I thought, we got on the bus, I talked to them, and I said, we're gonna get there early, look around, take it in. A couple guys want to take pictures. I told the coaches, just make sure that we're not gonna drag it out. Take your pictures, and then once we're in here, we got cleats. We obviously always have an itinerary. Everybody knows when we're gonna stretch, and we stick to it. So said, you got your restroom, you got everything. Then once the cleats were on, it was like we're in another venue. And it's funny because our right fielder who caught the last out, who's one of our more confident guys, he was asked the same question, and his answer was like, it's another field for me. And he didn't mean it in a bad way, but he was just locked in, and I think a lot of the guys gravitated to that mentality.
You don't want to ask another question? You're intimidated by this Ferrar kid.
I was 2-0 in the press box, man.
Hey,
I don't know.
You're bragging about that. I came close, though. Narbonne killed me because of Chris Ferrar. Okay, Chris, I want you to echo your sentiments, what you believe about that fan support. Because one of the reasons I think you got through this was that East LA crowd. Talk about the fans that were at Dodger Stadium, which really helped the whole city section budget-wise because you brought a big crowd and saved the city section. What did those fans mean to you at that point when you were struggling early in the game?
Yeah, a bunch of the fans were settling in about the first inning, and I didn't really hear them that much until about the second inning, third inning, and they've been supporting us all season long. I had so many fans. I felt it. I soaked it all in. Took a deep breath on the mound, and then locked in.
And eventually this moment happened, which was pretty good. Coach, I want you to talk about when you heard the chants of East LA. Go Bulldogs, you're going to hear all the time. But the East LA represented the community. And everyone in the press box, everyone in the stadium heard that cascading down at Dodger Stadium. East LA. I mean, you had to feel good about that.
We feel good, but we're not surprised. It's like one of those deals where, even league games, we get a good crowd. It's just our administration at Garfield is amazing, is supportive, and the administration we have understands the place that Garfield holds in that community. They have a really real picture idea of what Garfield means to that community, and so seeing them up there, we would have had our mariachi there again, except a couple of them, they had the test and we lost a couple kids, and so we couldn't get them there, but they would have been there again. And we started getting videos of the lines outside, and when I heard that they weren't gonna scan tickets till 9 o'clock, I was like, we're not gonna have all our fans in by 10. You just have an idea what's gonna happen, but it's a special place to be at. I know maybe other people will use it, but I think just Garfield is just, it's one of a kind, really.
Talk about what it's been like at school since you won the city title. Walking with a little more confidence through the hallways. I want to know.
8-2. His ERA was under 2. He's a star on campus.
That's what I want to know. What's it been like since you guys won the city title?
Sometimes in class they'll be like, "Oh, that's the CIF champ over there."
Nice. That's cool. That's cool.
Most of my teachers were saying like, "Oh, I was there. I was cheering you on. Congratulations. How'd you feel?" And it's always like, wow, like I didn't know like they were like big fans. It almost feels like I'm a superstar at school.
Well, you are a superstar.
That's great.
Okay, then what makes this thing so ironic is Garfield really doesn't have a baseball field. And so you end up winning a championship at arguably the most beautiful facility in Major League Baseball. It's right in there. You go from nothing really from a facility standpoint to the ultimate. Tell us about your plight on trying to get ready on a daily basis because you really don't have a field.
Yeah. Well, our practices this year, well, actually the last few years have been, on football field, and we really can only practice during baseball class because then in the spring track gets on and you really can't hit live BP because there's no place to hit live BP. And I think anybody who's coached baseball understands that, yeah, you can get tee work and you can get in cages, but there's something to be said about, seeing the ball off the bat and see it go and things like that.
How do you get ready? Well, there's no mound, right? Or do you bring in some dirt and make a pile, or what?
I just prepared mentally, visualize my.
So you
myself.
really didn't have a mound though when you practiced?
No, just our artificial turf mound.
Wow. Well, guys, congratulations. I think it's a great story. You were the number 3 seed, so it's not totally unexpected. Last question, you got him coming back next year. Caesar's going to be, I guess, your number 1 pitcher.
Open division?
He asked it.
That was going to ask, hey, what do you got coming back next year? And, yeah, are you thinking, okay, let's go for the open division next year?
Well, you know what, we don't, when we go into, I'll be honest, when we go into the season, we don't really think like, let's play it down or play it up. We try to put together a competitive schedule, and if the powers to be feel like we're an open division team, we'll be there. We played a few. We played Roosevelt. We played Marshall. Now we're down to 28 teams. I'm one of those coaches that really likes to play Southern Section teams. It's not a knock on the city section at all. Mm-hmm. I like kids to experience. I mean, one year I went to Notre Dame when they opened the field, and Hunter Green was a senior, and I just wanted them to be able to see what that looks like. I probably knew we were going to get destroyed, but so I don't necessarily look at it. You do, obviously, there's strategy to your schedule, and you want to be able to have put yourself in a position where you're going to win some ball games for sure. But we'll do the same thing. We'll piece it together and try to get these guys ready to go. And if people feel we're an open division team, then we'll play in the open. If wherever they feel we belong, we'll go there and we'll compete there.
One last one for Caesar. What do you want to get better at for next year? Where do you want to improve?
Pitching, obviously, but I think more specifically, I like to work more mechanics. Use more of my legs. Obviously get bigger in the weight room. We wake up 6:30. Not 6:30. We get there at 6:30 in the morning. Start lifting right before school, and practice later in the day during baseball class. And I feel like that can help me with, help me reach my goals of playing beyond high school.
Well, we wish you the best. You got another full year. That'll certainly improve your chances. And, Coach, again, congratulations on winning the D1 title.
Thank you.
Beat a good Narbonne team.
Appreciate it.
All right, Tarek, we're running short on weeks here in the high school world. We're going to come back next week, and we'll have the champions. We'll talk about who wins the regional championship. And we know in baseball it's Jay Serra against a very good Huntington Beach team. We're not sure who the softball finals are going to be because they still have a semifinal game to be played, but we'll talk about those games. And we'll probably have a guest or two to wrap it up for the season. I know, Tarek, it's been a tremendous baseball season, especially in the city section. We were able to meet the Chatsworth Chancellors winners and obviously the guys from Garfield. It was a great, great day at Dodger Stadium last Saturday.
It really was, and it was good to be back. Let's not forget, it was, I think, more than 50 years straight at Dodger Stadium before the pandemic, kind of 2-year hiatus from the city section finals being at Dodger Stadium, but they came back, and we had 2 very good games.
Yeah, Chatsworth winning its 10th title, that's a tremendous achievement. And what strikes me about that, the West Valley, and I know San Pedro won the title during the COVID year, but the West Valley just completely controls that open division. Birmingham out of the West Valley had won the other 3. So I think it's good for Garfield and teams of that ilk to play in the D1. It gives them a real good chance. Those West Valley League teams are just a step above. But Garfield, they got their pitcher coming back next year. So who knows? We're going to wish them well. And maybe next year when they get back to the championship, I'll pick them to win in the press box, and Tarek won't be the only guy that goes 2-0. Now, that's going to wrap up another week of SoCal Prep Report. Again, we want to thank our Chatsworth guests. Coach Alvarado had a great year, and his pitcher, Ruedas, was terrific as well. And we want to thank them for joining us. And, of course, Ruben here was great as the coach and as a guest tonight, along with his pitcher, who was terrific as well in Caesar Ferrer. And for Tarek Fatal, where are you going to be this week? You got one last week. That's it.
No, one more week, one more day. I'll be at a regional final. I'll be at Oaks Christian softball regional semifinal tomorrow, regional final on Saturday, and the prep season is over.
Complete.
Yes.
So we'll get a synopsis from you on those games next week, right?
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Come on. You don't pull back on me right now. All right, for Tarek Fatal of the Daily News, and you can read him there every day. You're every day, right?
Just about.
He's a full-time employee. But we're happy to have him here. For Tarek, I'm Randy. We'll see you next Thursday right here on SoCal Prep Report. Good night, everybody.